Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Find Your Model Health, the official podcast for those looking to optimize their long-term health and weight goals and understand how their body really works. I am your host. I am fitness and nutrition expert, certified iridologist, and biohacker, and I'm very happy to have you back with me on this Thanksgiving weekend. If you're in Alberta right now, you will see it's snowing. So the first snow of the season, which is welcome and somewhat not welcome because it's still a bit too early in my opinion. But as I sit here sipping on my cinnamon and cardamom tea, I'm sending you all lots of well wishes for this Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you're all having lots of fun with your loved ones. And I hope that you enjoy this podcast episode. So we're going to go on. This week's episode, we're looking at glutamine. What is glutamine and how can it help you manage stress, but let's say more specifically help you with cravings, which we'll get to that at the end or towards the end of the podcast. But before I go on, I must remind you that the information in these podcast episodes should not be taken as medical advice and is for informational purposes only. Please consult your health practitioner before making any lifestyle changes. Okay, so let's go on. Glutamine, or you may have heard me refer to it as L-glutamine. It basically is an essential amino acid that our body can produce itself, but under certain conditions, we may have issues producing it. Generally, we hear of glutamine being used in the fitness industry with like bodybuilders or athletes who are looking to preserve muscle tissue or muscle mass. So that's where glutamine can come in because as an amino acid, it's a building block. And not just of muscle, of everything. Anything that grows, anything that can be built, right down to the cell, will use glutamine. Your hair, your nails, your muscles, your bone, everything will use glutamine. And glutamine will burn up pretty fast under certain circumstances. That's where we'll see a glutamine deficiency. So generally, and I know you probably know the answer to this, the causes of a glutamine deficiency is stress. So physical or emotional stress are likely to be at risk for glutamine deficiency. So when the body is taxed, just like it would with minerals and B vitamins by either physical stress or emotional stress, relationship stress, life stress, blood and muscle concentrations of glutamine get rapidly depleted because your body will burn through these pools or reserves of nutrients really fast as it's trying to deal with whatever the stress is. Then in return, your body's not able to manufacture that amino acid, the glutamine, fast enough to meet its needs. So that's where we may want to bring in a supplement. And low glutamine levels, like deficiencies, they can cause a lot of issues, especially for people that are experiencing severe stress or severe physical trauma caused by an accident or an infection or something like that. So when you have kind of ongoing glutamine deficiencies, not only will you see your inability to be resilient to stress downgrade or deplete, but you'll also see maybe increased anxiety, increased cravings, increased irritability, poor cognitive performance, neurological issues. You'll also see intestinal permeability, which is what we call leaky gut. So diarrhea, sensitivity to a lot of foods. Basically, what I would get from a lot of people is anytime I eat, it just runs straight out of me. So that kind of idea. Then also a weakened immune system because glutamine is very, very important for immune health. And right now we are talking a lot about vitamin C and quercetin and zinc and all that. But I haven't seen many people talk about glutamine, which is a very important tool for the immune system. So, like I mentioned, you may have heard that glutamine is used like by bodybuilders and athletes for muscle performance and muscle synthesis and maintenance and all that. But glutamine also can help people lose weight. It can help some people burn fat. It can also be very beneficial for digestive health, brain health, which of course they're both directly connected, as many of us know now. Many health practitioners and scientists will consider the gut to be your second brain. Although now, over the last while, I've heard a lot of researchers discussing, well, actually, maybe the gut is your first brain, and then your brain is the second brain. So it definitely, we know they're directly intertwined, like they have a direct connection. Which came first? I don't know, but it's definitely an interesting consideration. So, like I mentioned, glutamine is great for digestive health, so it can be helpful in treating intestinal issues and leaky gut. So, it's an essential amino acid. You can supplement with it if you feel you're depleted, but you can also get it from food sources too. Because it's amino acid, your main source of glutamine is going to be from animal products, especially your most bioavailable forms of amino acids. They are going to come from animal products. My favorite being bone broth, collagen, grass-fed beef, a good protein shake, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, so turkey. It's turkey season. I like turkey a lot. Just saying, if anyone wanted to drop me off a present, I like turkey at this time of the year. But to get its benefits, most people are going to need more than just getting it directly from their foods or from nutrition, because even if they are, most people are burning through those reserves really fast, especially with the stress of nowadays. So we see that glutamine improves gut health, which of course would directly affect immune health. But when we look at specifics in gut health, a lot of health practitioners will use glutamine for IBS or inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. I'm sorry, my brain is not correct today. Diverticulosis, if you remember my diverticulosis podcast a few months ago, when diverticulosis gets out of hand, we see diverticulitis. So we can use glutamine for that as well, but we would also need a lot more stuff. And then the leaky gut pain. And the reason that glutamine helps so much with gut health is, one, because it can play a big part in inflammation. So it has these really great anti-inflammatory properties. And if we can push down inflammation, especially in the gut, then we can start getting a lot of relief in these IBS symptoms. So also, when we have deficiency in these key amino acids, the epithelial layer or the gut lining or that protective barrier that we speak so much about that contributes to leaky gut, that can start to get broken down and wear away and not regenerate properly. The tissues especially are not going to regenerate properly if you have a deficiency in amino acids, because remember, for anything to grow, you need amino acids. So if you're to regrow cells to fix leaky gut or the intestinal permeability, you have to have amino acids. If you don't have enough amino acids, you will not fix intestinal permeability because you won't be producing the cells to fill in those gaps. It's just not possible. And this is where this protective barrier becomes worn down, and we see holes start to form there in the epithelial layer. So these tight cell junctions, these basically junctions where the cells connect, they start to get bigger and bigger and create holes. And when that happens, your gut, of course, becomes not only the focal point of inflammation, but one of the main areas that drives inflammation because we have unwanted particles then leaking through the cell walls into the bloodstream, and that's where we see autoimmune disease happen as well. But glutamine can be great for this because glutamine, not only can it help close up these tight cell junctions, it can also then reduce the inflammation or put out the fire that may be happening in the gut as well. And that's on many levels. That's not just on the physical level, but that's also on the neurological level of things as well. And then when we look at further levels of how glutamine can help with gut infections, one big one is obviously SIBO or bacteria overgrowths, and one of those can be H. pylori. So Helicobacter pylori is a type of bacteria that most of us have, but when it gets out of control, that's where we see a problem start to happen, because H. pylori will drill into the stomach lining and tear up the tissue there. And this is where we see ulcers and a lot of acid reflux and stomach issues happen there, right down into the gut. So H. pylori can be even mistakenly diagnosed as IBS, but it's this bacteria that was the problem the whole time. So about 50% of people who have IBS have an infection of H. pylori, and this is always something that I consider, especially when I see acid reflux present. Acid reflux and H. pylori generally will go hand in hand. So if you have H. pylori, you may have IBS, and if you have IBS, it can make you susceptible to H. pylori. It creates a vicious cycle, but L-glutamine, since it helps boost or helps repair your gut, it can also then address H. pylori too. And glutamine also helps the resiliency of your immune system. We'll go into that. So one study or one article from the Harvard Gazette titled "Glutamine Supplements Show Promise in Treating Stomach Ulcer," we see that the amino acid glutamine helps offset stomach damage caused by H. pylori bacteria. So there is a lot of research on this. But the next is going to be, how does L-glutamine boost your immune system? Well, glutamine actually encourages your immune system to send immune cells to the problem areas in your stomach lining, but also because glutamine supports muscle tissue and even bone health. 60% of your muscle tissue is made up of glutamine. So a lot of our immune cells are stored in our muscles, but also we have a lot of stem cells that get produced in our bones, and stem cells play a big part in immunity as well. So where you don't have enough glutamine in the body, you'll see issues with these areas as well. So taking L-glutamine can encourage your immune system to not only send immune cells to problem areas in your stomach or in your gut, but also encourage stem cell production, which forms then new cells as they are needed for immune system replenishment. So there's a lot of research here on the benefits of glutamine for gastrointestinal health, leaky gut, ulcers, and of course immunity. And immunity is a big one right now, as many of us know. But regardless of glutamine, amino acids, full stop, are very important for immunity. And this is why you'll hear a lot of nutritional therapists like myself or other nutritional practitioners discussing the importance of nutrition right now, and whole foods and good nutrition, because there is no one main nutrient that's going to fix everything. I know a lot of people are focusing on zinc right now, and zinc is awesome, but there's no one nutrient. Everything is important. A good balanced nutritional diet is going to be one of the biggest players in your overall health. So it's not focusing or supplementing on one specific thing, but we can pick and choose which supplements to take based on other symptoms. We know they benefit the health, but then they can also affect other specific symptoms we may be experiencing, not to go on too much. So I kind of mentioned that glutamine supports brain health too, which would be cognitive performance, and supports any sort of, and even addresses neurological issues. So a precursor to the neurotransmitter glutamate in your brain, which may sound familiar to some of you, glutamine is a precursor to that, and that's key to boosting or supporting brain health. A disruption of the glutamate cycle can result in all kinds of brain problems, including seizures, epilepsy, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, and addictions. Not just alcohol addiction or drug addiction, but food addictions as well. So glutamine is very important for keeping good brain health, a good resilient brain, helping you prevent any mental disorders that may occur from not just amino acid deficiencies, but life in general. So glutamine also can help slow down brain aging. So that's super good. A study conducted at the New York University School of Medicine showed that even mild traumatic brain injury caused by brain atrophy, it depends on the part of the world you're from, and most of this damage was due to the disrupted glutamate cycle and an abnormal increase in glutamine levels. So we need to have that good balance. So we mentioned all of the above. We've also kind of touched on muscle growth. Muscle synthesis maintains good muscle, decreases muscle waste. Glutamine can significantly play a part here, as many bodybuilders over the decades will attest to. So you can, because exercise in itself is a stress on the body, it will, like I mentioned, deplete glutamine. So then your muscles and your tendons, especially if you're trying to grow them, they're going to require more glutamine than the normal amount supplied by your diet. So not only do they require more, you've already depleted your amino acid pools, that supplementing is going to be a good idea. This will help prevent muscle degradation or muscle wasting, and then support the repair of your muscles, but also support strength as you move forward in building new muscles. So glutamine can be great. One study found that glutamine supplementation makes it possible to recover quicker from intense weight training sessions because it improves muscle hydration. And this aids the muscle recovery process and reduces recovery time for wounds and so on. So I know many of you are going to be appealed by this notion of supplementing with glutamine, especially because it can also help with strength and helps with recovery. A lot of people are struggling with recovery right now because of this whole stress situation that we are in, like the current scenario of the world. And when you're stressed, you're going to find it very hard to recover after whatever the event is. So then there's more research on how glutamine can support metabolic health and heart health. Research has indicated that human growth hormone, which is a very important player in our metabolism and for fat burning, that human growth hormone levels go up nearly 400% after glutamine supplementation. And this hormonal response leads to an increase in resting metabolic rate and improves the afterburn effect, or that post-exercise effect, which is essential for fat burning later on in the day and for building lean muscle. So there is evidence to suggest that taking glutamine can help with fat burning, which then leads me to the whole cravings thing. Now, when a lot of health practitioners will use glutamine, well, a lot of practitioners in the know will use glutamine for addressing cravings. And not just for the weight loss aspect of things, but the overall prevention of cravings on many levels for many different things. Like cravings have a big part in obviously blood sugar and insulin balance and metabolic flexibility and even sleep quality. So cravings play a big part overall, even just how we feel in ourselves. Giving into cravings in the moment feels okay, but later on you then may experience guilt or you're kicking yourself. So if we can use glutamine, and it does work for many people, then that's going to be a bonus. Not only do we get the other health benefits, but we get the support with cravings. Now, there's nothing set in stone regarding glutamine and cravings in regards to research and peer-reviewed studies. A lot of the recommendations for using glutamine for cravings is anecdotal, or it's from practitioners like myself who have recommended it to their clients or even used it themselves and seen the benefits of it and how it can work pretty fast. And a couple of these reasons is going back to that stress state, of course. When we're severely stressed and we deplete our body of these levels of amino acids, then that can increase cravings as the body's stress responses give me more of these amino acids because I can't function. So cravings get increased, but also because depletion of glutamine can directly impact the Krebs cycle, then we can start to experience low energy, and a natural response from the body with low energy is going to be to refuel. And usually the quickest way to do that is through carbs or through sugar. And then when we look at how glutamine also affects our gastrointestinal tract and directly our neurological system. And remember, I said glutamine will impact depression and anxiety and resiliency on that level. Well, glutamine is going to play a part there. So what many of us see is by getting our clients to supplement with glutamine, we can help offset these cravings, specifically sugar cravings, because glutamine then can support the Krebs cycle, can help get sugar into the cells for energy without you needing to consume sugar. It can also then bring down that stress response that your body may have made worse from having depleted levels of this amino acid as well. So glutamine is multifactorial because it addresses or supports the body on so many different levels, and all of these different levels have a key part in cravings and nutritional choices. They really do. Everything from gut health to cognitive performance to mental abilities to stress resiliency, they all will directly impact food choices. So what myself and other practitioners have seen, that getting our clients to supplement with glutamine when they're undergoing a lot of stress, or maybe their glutamine levels are low because they're eating a low protein diet, or they're exercising intensely, or they're battling an infection, or even if they just are experiencing a lot of cravings and they don't know why. But really, we normally know why if we stop and reflect. I didn't sleep well last night, or it's been a stressful day, or whatever. We can supplement with glutamine. One way that I like to use glutamine, and I generally look for the free form of glutamine, and it's not too expensive. You can get it in pills or you can get it in capsule form. Is for some people that have a lot of stress and maybe there's some adrenal issues already there, I'll get them to supplement with glutamine across the day. So that might be 500 milligrams in the morning, and then the afternoon, and then the evening. And it can be taken with or without food. A lot of these supplements I like to take on an empty stomach. so they can be used pretty fast by the body. But if someone is experiencing cravings, then we can look at taking 500 to 1,000 milligrams on the spot and watch how the body responds. And it can respond really well to a lot of people, where it can push down cravings. If your stress is very severe, you might need to take a bit more, but just pay attention to how your body feels. If it starts to calm down, if your cravings start to subside, and this is just the cravings, remember that by taking this supplement, you're also getting all of the other benefits as well. Another way that I've used it is with a high-grade protein shake. So if I find someone has that sweet tooth in the evening and I know it's just out of habit, and for some people it might be stress, but I know it's out of habit, I'll get them to have a really nice protein shake. So a good quality protein shake, and we'll either add a tablespoon or two of glutamine to it, so that would be glutamine powder to the protein shake, or we can just take 1 or 2 capsules of L-glutamine, and that usually does the trick for cravings. So with that sweet tooth, they're still getting something sweet, but it's giving them an abundance of benefits. And also, if you're getting a good protein shake, you're going to be getting a lot of very good bioavailable amino acids in there as well. So you're getting a ton of amino acids when you add in the glutamine and the protein shake together, which is going to replenish those amino acid pools and give you all the other benefits as well, from supporting muscle growth to supporting your immune system to your resiliency to pushing down inflammation. And one of the best things about glutamine is that it's pretty safe for everyone. There's no side effects generally, but I will say if you're taking with a protein shake, you're looking for a good protein shake. If you get a poor quality protein shake, you may have side effects, and then you may turn around and blame the glutamine when it actually was the protein shake and not the glutamine. So it's rare that you'll see glutamine cause any problems. It's pretty safe regardless of what way you take it, if it's in capsule form or if it's in powder form. Another side tip though is that if you take a B vitamin, it will be wise to take your B vitamins with your glutamine, because it can help any buildup of glutamine in the body, which I think it would be very rare in any way, unless you're like the calmest person on the planet and had zero stress and you're taking glutamine, then you might have a glutamine buildup, but the majority of us, that is not going to happen. So to wrap that up, a little bit longer because there was a lot to go through, but if you want to use glutamine for cravings, you can either supplement with it across the day in several doses, or you can take it as you feel those cravings come on. You're looking at 500 to 1,000 milligrams, wait 10 minutes, see how you feel. Or if you have that sweet tooth, you can add glutamine to a good protein shake, and that should curb your cravings pretty effectively. So if you try this, let me know how it goes. You can reach out to me on most platforms. I'm over on Rumble now. You can also get me on Facebook and Instagram, or through my website, Shemaine's Model Health. Let me know if you've used glutamine, if you like it. I use it, not just for the cravings, for lots of stuff I use glutamine. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this post. I hope you found it informational. Let me know if you have any questions. Please share with anyone that you think would benefit from this information. And lastly, have a great Thanksgiving weekend, everyone. I wish you all the best. I hope you have lots of laughter and love this weekend. And I will chat to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.